Full-time movie fans. I'm here with my co-host. This is Michael,
Hi.
aka the Boss Hoss. That's the nickname he actually has. I didn't just make that up
Yeah.
on the
everyone
fly.
calls me that.
I am also your host, Daniel, aka Jarvis. It's good to be back. Well, actually, this might be the first one that goes up. I don't know what order these are going to be uploaded, but
Whatever you choose.
yeah. So this may be the first one, or maybe the second, or the third. So welcome back, if it's depending on which order it is in.
Welcome and back.
Yes, yes. So we're going to be talking about Multiverse of Madness,
Yep.
Marvel. So we're getting into that a little bit. I think this is one of those movies that was very. Don't think it was split down the middle. I think it just had a lot of people didn't like it, but I also heard a lot of people who did.
Yeah.
But I think it was kind of leaning towards more people didn't like it than did.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that what you got?
That's kind of
consensus?
what I've gotten from it. There's the talks that everyone talks about, which is like the decline of Marvel movies after
in general, yeah.
after Infinity War. Well, after Endgame, actually.
Yeah.
'Cause Endgame was good.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Look, I'm not that big of a Marvel fanatic, but that was a good movie.
And I think I said this in the last video, or maybe this is the first time I'm saying it, depending on the order. But I think it's important to recognize, like, what Marvel has done. It's insane. Like, nobody ever would have thought that it would have been possible to create a cinematic universe in the way. I mean, when you think about just that's insane.
Yeah,
because
serializing feature-length movies. Yeah.
Yes, because you realize all the other studios that have tried to do something like that. You know, what's the failed Monsterverse and all these other ones. Even I think Alita Battle Angel was supposed to set up ones, but it just didn't do good enough. There's no
or a series that'd be very topical for this one. The Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. Same vein, Star Wars.
Connection. So, but yeah, there's a lot of studios that have tried to do. I mean, and then the most obvious one is DC, which that's a whole different episode.
Those characters changed by the minute.
Yeah. Well, and for some of them for very good reasons, some for not good reasons, but. You look at how difficult it is to do that, and I think we have to acknowledge that is very impressive what they've done so far.
Yeah.
That being said, also, I think it's important to note that it's really easy to critique somebody else's work. Like, it's easier to critique someone else's work than to actually do that work yourself. And like I don't know about you guys, but I cannot like just make a movie that everybody would love. So like, I also feel a little bit weird when talking about this kind of stuff. Just because I recognize how difficult it is.
I'll be an asshole.
Very good. Okay. Bad cop, good cop here.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little background on me that you probably don't know that much about. I've made a movie before.
Yeah.
Feature length. Yeah. With my own hands. I should have brought you a copy just so that you could sit there and go, yeah, no.
We'll critique you. We'll critique your movie next.
I was gonna say you could watch it and go, yeah, man, I'll call you next time I need someone on the podcast.
So, but you understand the process better than most,
right?
So,
which is why I liked looking into the process of how Multiverse of Madness was made, because it connects a lot of the pieces that people had a lot of critiques about.
Yes, which we're going to get into.
We will.
And here's what I would like to do. I actually, and I think this is what I'm going to do for the full, like from start to finish, of this channel, and discussing movies is, especially with Marvel movies, I think there's a lot of heavy criticism, and it's been getting more negative, as you said.
Yeah.
So that being said, I would like to start off with the things that we didn't like and get it out of the way, and spend as much time as we can leaving on a good note of what we did like and or love about the movie, because I think there is a lot to like. I think there's a lot to love about the movie as well.
Yeah.
So let's go. Let's start with. I mean, I guess, what was your overall impression? Like, you watched the movie, you came out of the theater. How were you feeling? Like.
So, Martin Scorsese was quoted on his opinion of Marvel movies at one point, and he got a lot of flack for it, saying that they're not real cinema and they're more akin to like amusement park rides. While I don't agree that they're not real movies, because logically speaking they are.
Yeah.
I kind of understand where he's coming from. It's the emotional value of what is being given from the most recent movies is not in-depth thoughts and I guess moral conclusions, and they're more like, hey, look, these characters that you've known for the past like 10 years now, they're doing wacky stuff. You see that bus get cut in half? That was sick, right?
He's doing the thing with his hands that makes the things happen.
And there he is. There's Mr. Marvel 3. I don't know. But yeah, that's my thoughts coming straight out of the movie where, it was all right. I had fun. That was it. I had fun. It wasn't as thought-provoking or changing of my life as other movies around the time. Mm-hmm. Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh my gosh!
Which
we will discuss that
actual Multiverse of Madness.
Yes, we will have an episode where we do that because that's an insane movie. Yeah, I absolutely love.
Yeah, I walked out of that movie going, that was what I wanted from Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
So that's I guess my biggest critique of it is that there has been this world made of so many really in depth and really like nailed down characters that were doing things that those characters wouldn't do, you know?
Like what, for example?
So, again, I'm not the biggest Marvel fan, but from other people that I know that have said that they're actual, they've seen every Marvel movie, they've read the comics, everything, is that the Doctor Strange that was set up in the first Doctor Strange movie and in the Avengers is not the same Doctor Strange that was in Multiverse of Madness. Is that he was very... he was a lot lighter and uncharacteristic, and it was the same problem that they had with the most recent Spider-Man movie, No Way Home, right? Is that Multiverse of Madness and No Way Home had the same Doctor Strange in it, but it wasn't the same Doctor Strange that was pre-Thanos, I guess.
Okay, yeah. I think I'd have to think about that a little bit more and think about the comparison. I haven't seen the first Doctor Strange movie in a long time, so thinking about that. No Way Home was more recent, but whenever I think about that, I just get that nostalgia shot in my head when I think about the movie that makes me just feel all
that was a good
things.
Movie too.
Yeah,
that one was a lot of fun.
Yeah, all the serotonin or whatever. I just all the happy things when I think about that movie. So, and he was in the movie, but he wasn't a big part of it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He was there to facilitate,
right. And the big critique on that one was that Doctor Strange would not have done that in the first place. Would not have given the opportunity to facilitate the rest of the movie.
I would argue that I believe it just because he's always been about skirting the rules. He's never been a hard, like even in the first one, I do remember, he was stealing stuff out of the library. He was like, I don't think he's ever been, even as a doctor and stuff like that. He's just kind of like, I'm going to do things my way. And he's not really interested. And now I think it was more of the way it played to me in No Way Home was since he wasn't the Sorcerer Supreme, is just kind of like poking at Wong just because he's in the position of power. So he's like, "Hey man, I'm," and then Wong's just like, "Look, I don't want to know.
This is your problem."
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
I don't know. I could buy it, but that's my playing devil's advocate on the other side of the coin there. But I also see
Honestly, I feel like I had less critique from an outside perspective than people who have been watching more movies, because a lot of my friends are like the
movie snobs.
Yeah, I am the lead of the pretentious film group, but they're all like my best friend Kevin. He'll go see a Marvel movie. He'll come out and go, "That was the worst piece of shit I've ever seen." And I'm like, "All right, well, hey, up to you, I guess."
Yeah,
just start riffing on it for like an hour.
I definitely am a lot more of a Marvel fan, and I will say that Spider-Man was it just holds a special place in my childhood, as do the X-Men, because I watched the animated series of both of those
Yeah.
as a kid after school. But, you know, when I watched it, I did enjoy it. But here's one thing about movies in general that I don't like, and we talked about this a little bit before, is I just don't like, if you're going to create a movie and you're going to create an environment, you're going to create a story that is fictional, then I have to be able to believe the things that are in this world that you created.
Yeah.
And if it falls out of that, I get it takes me out of it in a negative way.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about it, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And that happened a few times in this movie. I think two very specific things that stood out to me, which I'll get into. I'll give you a quick example. Hopefully you've never seen this movie. It was the last Pacific Rim movie.
I saw the first one. I did not see the last one.
Did they only make two? I can't even remember.
I'm pretty sure there's only two.
Yeah, so there was one part where all the freaking monsters join together and they turn into this huge giant Megazord one. And so
Makes sense.
one of the things they do is they trap one of the Jaeger's arms to one of the arms of the monsters and then tries to fly it out into space. I'm like,
All right.
first off, if it had enough thrust to pick up this thing and take it into space or whatever,
Yeah. Why not just do that?
like it would have probably pulled the arm off by itself first before it took it up there. And then secondly, so like that took me out of it so much that I was like, I can't believe that. But I'll say that overall, I really enjoyed Multiverse of Madness. It's not without its faults or critiques. I have it, but overall, I would say I actually enjoyed it. So we're on opposite sides of the coin. Maybe not very far.
Yeah.
But I think we're on the opposite sides of the coin because I would say I overall enjoyed it, and I think you would say overall
It was okay.
yeah, just okay. Yeah. So when I look at these movies, and I talk to you about this as well, is I actually there's small changes I think I can make that would be like feasible. Like if they called me on set, they were like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" or like the script or whatever,
Right.
And called me into a room and said, "Hey, what do you think about this?" I'd be like, "Ooh, I think if you just change these few things, like it would be like a lot better."
Yeah.
And then I have bigger sweeping ideas that's like changes the whole movie. And so I think one of those that I had was one of the things that really kind of took me out of it that I didn't like was the Illuminati. The whole, like all of them, like they did not make any sense. Like Reed in like actually, and this is, sorry, I'm jumping around so much, but I have my best friend Clint, so he'll probably be on the channel at some point, hopefully, because he's a full-time movie fan as well. Much so more than me, probably closer to the same vein as you. Like he tries to watch at least, I think a few years ago before COVID, he had watched like 60 plus movies for the year.
Oh yeah, I had membership passes to.
He has all the movies.
Brew House and Alamo Draft House and yeah.
Yeah, so he does that kind of stuff. But he kind of said that. Well, dang, now I lost my train of thought.
The Illuminati.
Yeah, the Illuminati. Like, I don't think he was as bothered, but like one of my things is like, I kind of know I have comic book knowledge, and he doesn't. So he's just like takes the movies as they are.
Yeah,
and I have that extra layer of. It's like I read the book,
right?
And you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Syndrome is different with comics, but it's like I read the book, so
yeah.
I have knowledge. And actually, shout out to Rob over at Comics Explained, because that's where I get a lot of my comic book knowledge from. I love watching his channel. He's great. Go check him out. Give him a like and a follow. But Comics Explained is where I get a lot of my movie knowledge. But Reed Richards, he has backup plans for his backup plans, plans. And not only that, but he, even if he had to do something on the fly, like they said he's the world's smartest man. I mean, they even claimed that. Now, if they didn't claim that, maybe it would have made the next moves a little bit easier to swallow, but everybody's seen it. You've been on the internet. You've seen the critique of Reed Richards saying, "Oh, blackballed here, and I'm not going to kill you." And I get that, but like the biggest, most egregious thing is that like I would have imagined that he would have had some kind of force field that would have came up if she got to the right spot, like that he would have had some countermeasures in place. that could have like at least bought them some time to try to talk to her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the another thing was, which I think I'll put some screenshots of it. I took some photos when I was rewatching it. That whole fight scene, I was so pissed off because I was just like, you see Wanda kill Black Bolt, which is cool, and I love the way they did that. But what happens? Nothing. They're all just standing there. Reed's just like, whoa, 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 like, and then Captain Marvel and Captain Carter, they're just standing there doing nothing, and then she starts attacking Reed, and I was just like, okay, she's obviously doing something to him. He's in pain, and then there's two shots that actually show Monica Rambeau and Captain Carter, and they're standing in the background.
They go from to
they're just standing in the background, and then I'm like, why isn't Monica Rambeau like blasting her right now so that she stops killing Reed?
Yeah,
and then or even Captain Carter, like, why isn't she doing something? Like, she should have been getting a better position around. Monica Rambeau is obviously the stronger one. Captain Carter is going to be support. Like, if she's this great war hero, like, then she should know, like,
do something.
Flank, do something, like, get in a better position while she's distracted. And then he gets completely demolished and explodes in a cool way. I have no critiques about how she killed him, Reed, that is. But at that point, it literally, Captain Marvel and Captain Carter, after his head explodes, they look at each other, and then they're like, "Oh, maybe we should do something." And I'm like, "Dude, you guys are supposed to be a team." And one of the other egregious things was, I really think Professor X should have been there right off the bat, because if he was, he could have like stalled her out with his, telepathy. Like he could have bought them some valuable time to set up a trap for Reed to just wrap around her so she can't use her arms. Maybe she doesn't need them like Doctor Strange does to use it, but that could have been something to restrict. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many different things that it's just like, it's not believable that this is a team that worked together to defeat Thanos. Like, they look like, it looks like their first time they've ever encountered, a big issue.
They showed up on set and started rolling, and they went, all right, have chemistry.
Yeah. Well, it's not just that. It's just like, there was no choreography or thought behind that whole fight scene, I feel like. So that really kind of took me out of it.
So you ready for the how the sausage gets made?
Yeah.
You ready for
give us
my
give us a
30-minute
sausage
tangent?
Give us a sausage, Mike.
I'm gonna give it the whole way. Okay. So this all starts back with a little thing called guilds. And here's how the guilds in Hollywood work. And I think it's asinine and old and unnecessary, is that when you are a part of a guild, the guilds are unions, right? Unions for the workers that have specific jobs.
The only guild I care about is the Lollipop Guild.
I agree.
To be honest.
Yeah, the one with the only right rules, in my opinion. Sorry to all of the other guilds, but y'all are silly, as the Lollipop Guild is. So the way that the guilds work is, if you are working on a production, a Hollywood production from at least the big studios, they have contracts that say, hey, you have to use our union workers. And because they have to use the union workers, they have to abide by the union rules. And a large part of every union's rules is, if a person gets hired to do a job, they do that job and nothing else, right? So that is a very important part of setting up why this has happened the way it did.
Okay.
So, for instance, the guy who puts up the lights, the gaffer, right? The gaffer is the only person...
I think he prefers Mr. Gaffer.
Mr. Gaffer, yes. Sir Gaffer is the only person who's allowed to touch the lights, right? Yeah. That means you cannot go and ask a PA to go touch a light, to go move a light. If for some reason the gaffer's offset, he's like going to grab a sandwich or going to the bathroom or something, they need the light moved. If that motherfucker's gone for 30 minutes, the lights stay the same.
Yeah.
Right? They can't, or else they will lose the union contract. They could get into civil lawsuits, and they could have the entire production shut down. Yeah. That's how stupid that rule is, right?
Yeah.
The director can't even walk up and go, okay, well, he's gone, but I just need to move like 3 inches to the left. Yeah. They can't do that. That being said, let me grab the search while I'm ranting.
Hey, full-time movie fans, thanks for hanging out with us. Hope you had a good time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment. We want to hang out and discuss the movie with you. So don't forget to do that below. Have a good one. I hope your day is everything you dreamed it being more.